Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you guys so much for joining me. Oh man, the weather. I won't open the window, but I think it's going to get like no, I just burped. So sorry. Tonight I'm going to be talking about this book called Factfulness. Now, of course, you know me, I like to do a nice book review every now and then. I have not finished this book, but this book I have been using for a as a reference piece to talk about um population decline worldwide, and specifically about decline in Germany. Now, why am I talking about this book? It is important for me to discuss these issues because as I have started to become more popular on YouTube and Facebook, I have realized that people do not listen. People are not paying attention, and I find it really disheartening and a little bit concerning because it says to me that we see a headline and we don't actually get deeper into the conversation enough to really understand why this person is saying this, what information they have gathered to support their statements, what is their agenda, and make our own critical thinking conclusions for ourselves. We go along with rhetoric because it sounds good or it feels good, it warms us, it panders to us, but we don't actually understand exactly what is at stake when we repeat or regurgitate certain information that we have heard from other people. I think that this is extremely dangerous to do, especially in today's climate that is super polarizing without actually doing the fact checks. There have been several times where I have come up on my channel and have said certain things, and people have extrapolated them, seasoned them, and spat them back out onto my platforms without actually and without even actually fact checking for themselves. They come at me, the messenger, because a lot of the times I would be saying things based on research that I have done, and people get completely in their feelings and start to attack me like as if I think these things. Ladies and gentlemen, when I think something and when I give an opinion, I will let you know this is my opinion. And I think that this book really helps us to start to understand how that mentality really starts to break down society and creates polarization because people come with preemptive notions about society without actually asking themselves, why do I think this way? This is a very simple, easy thing to do, and it doesn't require a whole lot of energy and effort. You only have to sit with yourself for 15 minutes a day and ask yourself and journal and write down what comes out of your head. Why do I think this way? Because you are the sole and sum total of all of the experiences that you have had. And your interaction with said experiences is who you are. You can actually choose to have an experience and think completely different about it than you did the day before based on the stories that you tell yourself. Let's say, for example, you were to take an exam and you failed said exam. You can say, I failed this exam because the teacher asked a question that I did not study for. Or you can say, I failed the exam because I did not study hard enough. Both, both statements could be possibly true, but it really lends itself to the total disposition of a person when you answer either way. One, the latter, says that I'm not taking personal responsibility for my actions. And the former says, is it former? Yes, I think it's former. The former says that our responsibility is completely dependent on our outside, um, are completely we don't have any responsibility, and our actions and outcomes are completely dependent on what happens to us and not what we do to formulate experiences. Now, facts are not the same as opinions. And we need to be able to start to really learn how to differentiate the two because as we are being fed constantly stimuli through the outside world, it becomes harder and harder for us to be able to differentiate what is true and what is not. Our experience is will give us some kind of indication as to what is happening, but it is not the be all and end all of who we are and what we can become. And so, having this conversation about factfulness, sorry, it lends itself to the good best practice of being able to understand where those two parameters lie as we move throughout the world and try to figure out the things that we do have control over so that we can maximize our experience, so that we can have more control over the things that we can and accept and live in the context and confines of the things that we don't. This can actually help us to become more in control of our lives and our own narrative, as it will allow us to recognize that we have more power than we actually think we do. And so, when you pick up this book and you start to realize that your preconceived notions about the world affect your ability to reason and to find answers to the questions that you want, you will begin to feel a little bit more a sense of comfort and empowerment and be able to making better decisions in the future. This is not to say that problems will suddenly disappear from your life or that our problems will be easier to handle, but it will equip us with the ability to be able to use more of what is available to us in solving the problems that we can solve and cultivating culture and communities to help us to have a better experience in the world that we do live in. I hope that this has been very helpful for you guys. I've tried to keep some of these videos under 8 minutes and I've been wildly unsuccessful, but I'm sure that this content was a little bit more concise because, it's also something that I'm passionate about. So please pick up your book from Hans Rosling, Factfulness, because it is definitely something that helps you to see the broader perspective of the world. I don't agree with all of his opinions, of course, but that has not stopped me from being able to talk positively about some of the points that he makes in this book. And I think it would be helpful for all of you who are trying to seek truth in your life for the betterment of those and for the betterment of yourself and those around you. So, of course, this is your time to stay safe and stay free.